I think COVID taught us that if we have all our eggs in one basket, that basket could fall really quickly. So it's better to have 20 different baskets with a few eggs in each of them rather than just that one basket.
If you incentivize people who are already, because the gap between the rich and the poor just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? So how do you incentivize the little guy if the bigger guys are getting all the advantages?
Now, don't get me wrong. I genuinely think everyone in the country should have a business because it's a way to leverage the system in your favor. However, not everyone's built for that. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining us in this episode. My name is George Passis.
And I'm Robert Jacare.
After you finished drinking your coffee there.
Thank you for making the coffee.
That's it. No worries, mate. And we are joined by a very special guest today, Mr. Adam Khazaal. Thank you very much for joining us, Adam.
Thanks, George.
For those of you that don't know you, and I know there's probably not many, can you give us a bit of an intro about you, what you do, where you're from, and anything of interest?
Yeah, all right. So I'm 35 years old, born in Melbourne, raised in Melbourne. My parents always had businesses, and I kind of kept going with that sort of thing. So we had a takeaway business when I was an early adult, and from there I started a catering business. I'm a chef by trade, and then I moved on and started doing stuff like a cake factory, gin manufacturing. I now own a barber shop, beauty salon, Pilates studio, and a whole bunch of other businesses that I'm an investor in. And sometimes I work actively in there. Other times it's just a really passive income for me.
Fantastic, man. That's massively diverse as well. It's not like, you're a pastry chef and then you've opened up a butcher and then you've opened up a cafe and a restaurant. Like, you've really broadened your horizon as far as the types of businesses. I suppose you've seen them as a vehicle to make money and generate wealth. Yeah,
definitely. And I think COVID taught us that if we have all our eggs in one basket, that basket could fall really quickly. So it's better to have 20 different baskets with a few eggs in each of them rather than just that one basket.
Yeah, I think so. I've also heard the other concept of that is, like, they say don't put all your eggs in one basket. But I've also heard the other side of that being put all your eggs in one basket and watch the fucking basket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a really good point.
It is. And I think Hormozy is a big believer in that too, listening to his books where he says, like, triple down on the one thing that you're really good at. Right? Don't be distracted by too many things. And I think a lot of people can do that sometimes. And where they fall into the trap, I believe, is when they become that person that's involved in the day-to-day operations of every single business.
Yeah.
And if you fall into that trap, you'll just be putting out spot fires every single day, and you probably won't make as much money as if you concentrated on just the barbershop, right? And made a franchise of 50 barbershops instead of doing 7 other businesses. So, I mean, how have you found that juggling act, or even removing yourself from some of those businesses? And you said, do you pick and choose which ones you want to be involved in? How do you go about it?
Yeah, I agree with what you've said as well. And one of our mentors talk about how, you have one basket, but then you build eggs in that basket as well. So you could have 20 different baskets and keep building those baskets rather than just focusing on one. And yes, the cake company was a great start for me, but I learned how to actually run business. So now I'm not specific to an industry, because the business concepts on the back end is the same thing.
100%.
And as you've said, don't get involved in the day-to-day.
Yeah, and you are not your business.
No, exactly.
And I think a lot of people fall into that trap too. It's like, hey, what do you do? I'm a builder. Yeah. Hey, what do you do? I'm a digital marketer. Hey, what do you do? I'm a chef. But you're not that.
No.
Your company does that. Your business does that. But you yourself are a human being.
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
An entrepreneur or you're a business owner, right? This is what I am. So I think that's really important. And a lot of people fall into that trap. It's like the first thing you say, like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? Who are you? And they'll say their profession. That's what they are, but they're not.
Yeah, we define ourselves by our profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always do.
It's true. And I made the mistake, because I was still young in business, I made the mistake of calling it Adam's Bake Shop when I bought my bread bakery. So I named it after myself, which put another level of emotion behind that business. So even though I recently sold it about a week ago.
Oh, congrats.
Thanks.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
You sold the bake shop?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. Well,
is it now called Stephanie's Bake Shop?
That's it. Yeah. So that's the thing. Sometimes you've just got to remove emotions from your business and make it not be about you.
I think that's really important.
Did you change the name?
No, I left the name.
Yeah.
Except
I mean,
I
it's
own
got
all
the
the
brand,
trademarks.
Are you going to change your name?
No,
You going to change your name?
no. Maybe
Maybe.
Stephanie.
I think you hit the nail on the head. It's removing emotion.
Yeah.
Have to remove emotion, especially when it comes to a lot of those business decisions, because you might be holding on to something that's a sinking ship and you do need to let it go.
And because it was your first, you want to
right.
hold on to it and you want it to build and build and build.
Especially when you've built it from the ground up, like it's your baby.
Yeah.
Like you've built this, all the processes, you did that, you created this. It was nothing before. Now there's team, there's this, there's that. We do things in a certain way. We've got values. We've got, you know what I mean? You did all that like from scratch. So, and it's so hard to let go.
Yeah. And that comes from a level of maturity as well, right? Because if someone comes in here today and says, look, George, I'll give you 20 mil for your business. I'll say, yeah, cool. Where do I sign?
Yeah.
Let's go for it. Let's dance. But, had someone told me that day one, I'm like, oh no, you need to give me 100 million for the business before I step away. Like, this is mine. This is my pride and joy. And as much as I love the business and love the company, I love what it does for me, for my life. Do you know what I mean? So that's where I see.
And you could have like the emotion that this is my kid's business. When you've got too much emotion, this is the legacy I'm putting onto the rest. And I know you've spoken about it before previously on the podcast, saying, you want your kids to not have everything handed down to them. You want them to have to work for what they're entitled to, the 10 pages a day or whatever. But yeah, you have to remove those emotions and go, hey, if I sell it for the 20 million instead of the 100 million today, what opportunities does that open up to me? What can I leverage with more time? What can I do with that money right now that could potentially help the family?
So how do you run all of these businesses? How do they operate? You're here today. What's happening in your businesses?
Well, I've got op managers in every one, or a store manager. So at the beauty salon, there's 2 people that we've got as managers. So when one's off, the other one covers for them. We've got WhatsApp group text so that we just shoot over. I generally have a strategy meeting once a month with my business partners and all the people who are involved in that business. And I keep monitoring on that regards. Now, we onboarded 5 people. I still like to get involved in the hiring of my team because I'm protective of the team culture in each of the businesses. So that's probably the one thing that I go and do day to day.
Yeah, great. So do you have business partners? So people that are bought in or equity holders in those businesses too, or just managers?
No, I've got business partners in, I think, almost every business that I have. And the reason I bring them in, or sometimes they bring me in, they're industry leaders or they've got knowledge on the industry, and they go, hey, you're really good at the business back end side. Do you mind coming in and helping us out? And whether that's a 10%, 20%, 50% shareholding, I come in, whether or not I buy in or I help with the negotiations on the purchase or however it works. But that's how I can also leverage my time, is because I don't have intimate knowledge of each industry. So I can't go in and say, hey, we should wire the electricals this way, because I'm not an electrician.
Yeah.
I just know we got to get the best electrician in to get that job done.
A lot of people fall into that trap too because they're really good at their craft. They're really good at being a chef. So they keep being a chef. They keep baking the cakes, doing whatever they have to do, cooking the food. And then they don't concentrate on the business side of things. And that's where they often fail, because technically you're sound, business orientated you're not. And getting a partner in, having that foresight to say, I need to bring someone else into my business to help me in this avenue, is really, really smart. Even if you have to give a small slice of the pie up, just bake a bigger pie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that's massive too.
Yeah, and I was talking to a business partner last week, TJ. And
No, TJ.
yeah, so he's
Shout out to TJ.
I don't know you, TJ.
is my partner in the barbershop.
Nice.
And we've recently taken on a store manager.
Are you a barber as well?
Oh, yeah.
You
I
can
do
cut-
everything.
you can
I
cut-
do it all.
You cut hair, or
Yeah.
you just sweep the hair up?
Buzz cuts.
Buzz cuts.
Buzz cuts.
I was getting a haircut once, and
Yeah.
I had the hot towel on, and then it was like washing my face, and it comes off, and Adam's doing it, and I'm like,
Yeah, just massage it. Sometimes you got to get your hands
Make
dirty.
eye contact?
Yeah,
Made eye
always.
the whole time.
Every time.
That's
The whole time.
There you go.
Yeah, so there is a bromance here.
That's good.
Yeah.
I can feel the chemistry.
Yeah, you
sitting
guys
in
stroke
between
each
you.
other's egos normally. I'm jumping into stroke Robbie today. So anyway, with TJ, what we did was we had a holding group. And then from that holding group, now that we brought the store manager in, we said to him, we're going to give you a 3-month probation. if after your performance review, everything's going well, we're going to give you a percentage of this business.
Yeah.
But what we'll do then is we'll break off a business, and that holding group will own the new business, and that person will have 10% of that store
Yeah.
as the manager, as the director, and the holding group will have the other 90%. Now, that gives us room for, if we wanted another manager in, we could give him another 10% of that, and our holding group doesn't get diluted.
Yeah.
The shares in that shop only get diluted.
Well done, that's so smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
That goes to show your knowledge in the understanding of how to structure like things correctly, so that you don't give away your like bigger pieces of your pie as well.
Yeah, exactly. And, it's a wash up. So all the revenue that you get after it's taxed, it goes and washes up into the holding group. And because it's already been taxed, it can't get taxed again. So that washes up into wherever you hold your shares. So that's how I try and run each of the businesses. And that also removes me from the day-to-day of the operations, because I'm not technically the owner anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not the director anymore of that business. That's that store manager.
That's great.
Yeah. So there's all these interesting ways to remove yourself out.
I actually never heard that before, man. That's actually the first time I've ever heard how you can actually separate the business from. Like I've never ever knew that concept ever. That's amazing.
Yeah. So there's so many little tricks and that have been put in there by the powers that be for loopholes, so that they don't have to do this stuff.
Yeah, but who remembers that course that we did at school about that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't fucking exist. It's like
they don't teach you life skills at school. Man.
they don't. And these are things that can generate real impactful wealth and make your life better. Yet we're all taught sine cos tan.
Sinners, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You never used it?
I'm using it after this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hypotenuse theory.
Yeah,
What is it?
something like hippopotamus.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Pythagoras.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't teach you that stuff in school, man. Like, that's actually the first time I've ever heard that. And I've been around people who own multiple businesses, and it was actually what I wanted to be the core focus of today's talk as well. And that's a concept that I've never heard. So I can imagine there's people watching this saying, what the fuck is he talking about? And how do you do it? You know what I mean? So we want to make a core focus on providing value to the people who are watching. If someone, you don't just start off with multiple income streams. You don't go and create 9 at once. We all have more than one. Yeah. What would you say are some key steps to going from, because some people, it's probably people watching this that are in a job right now that they don't like, or, maybe have just the one solid like cash cow or the one income stream and they want to get more. What are some key things that they need to implement, or some key skills that they need to start to learn for them to be able to input things like that, where they're smarter with their money, where they can create that second income stream, where they create those relationships? Like, what are some key things you think they need to focus on?
I think you touched on it in your first episode about coaching and having mentors in your life.
Yep.
You need to have the right people around you. And it's always difficult to find the right people because not everyone knows this, like we've been saying. And I was fortunate in the cake company to take on a business partner, give him 50% of my shares, and he taught me all of this. And then, the course that we did recently, I learned more through that as well. So it was just about structuring myself, which I was very fortunate. But where to go to find these or how to start, it's just like testing the waters, I guess. Maybe you'll be an angel investor in a business. So, hey, I've got 50 grand. I want to buy 10% of someone's business. You go and put it online. Just test the market. Hey, I'm looking to invest in some business. Can anyone help? And then you go with your accountant and look at their business to see if it's something viable, and then just see the workings of that business and slowly start in that regards. Or reach out to someone that who has a business. Go, hey, can you teach me how to run a business?
You have to actively be looking for it though, right? You got to go, if I want these things, if I want multiple income streams, if I want multiple businesses, or if I want to expand my current operations, you have to go and search for it. And it's like the red car theory. I think we spoke about this the other day on the podcast, did we? About the red car. So you miss the opportunities that you don't see, that you're not looking for, sorry. So I'll give it the example again. If I told you today on your way here, how many red cars did you see?
Yeah.
Like, how many? I'm asking you.
I drove a red car, but apart from that.
Right, so How many other red cars did you see on the way?
Couldn't remember
Couldn't.
it. Yeah.
But if I told you, hey, on the way here, I'm going to give you $1,000 for every red car you see on the way here.
I'll make sure I drive around every red car.
Yeah, that's it. But you're going to actively be looking for them. And it's the same thing with opportunity. If you're not actively looking for opportunities, they're just going to pass you and you'll never know about it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to educating yourself in business and being better or learning something else, you need to go out there and start finding people. Or Google, get onto it. Get onto social media and look for all these entrepreneurs in your field that can potentially help you. Funny enough, I was doing that last night. And I found a builder in America that has delivered over $1 billion worth of projects, and he is offering coaching and mentoring.
Wow.
And I actually was about to book a session in with him and do it, but I'll do a bit more research before I do. But it was compared to what I charge for coaching and mentoring, he was actually quite cheap.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to leverage a guy who's turned over $1 billion in his construction company. Now, yes, it's a different market over there in the States, but if I pick up one thing that I can bring here,
Yeah, most skills are transferable
that's right.
from business to business.
That's right.
From, you know,
But I was looking at that. I had to make that, and I had to make that connection and commitment to say, okay, I'm going to spend $1,000 with this guy. If it works, great. If it doesn't, if it works, great. If it doesn't, well, it's fine. Move on to the next thing. So I think you have to actively look for it too.
And just to go on with that point, a lot of people actually, they put too much emphasis on money. They hold it and they bankroll it. And if I'm going to spend $1,000 today, yeah, I lose $1,000, but what do I gain? And you were talking about this, you're gaining experience from someone else. And like you just said, George, you're going to research it before you throw your money down the drain for this experience, because it might just be, great marketing.
Yeah.
But you've got to remove that emotion from the money. If I'm going to have to pay 20 grand this year to learn something, but it's going to push me forward 10 years, I'll pay the 20 grand every day of the week.
Yeah,
But
well, that's a no-brainer. It's $2,000 a year.
yeah, but if someone doesn't have that mentality and they're like, if I lose 20 grand today, that might affect me in 10 years' time, and I won't earn my 1.6% interest in the bank.
I used to think like that, man. I used to think if I go wrong somewhere horribly here and I lose 100K, that it's gonna, it would be almost impossible. If I lose $1 million, it'll be almost impossible. We'll say $1 million because it's called $1 million days. It'll be almost impossible to come back from that. I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
I believe that no matter what happens, no matter what,
Go to zero.
go to zero. I'll come back. I'll come back quicker than ever.
So true. I'm so much like that as well.
I used to be very fearful of that though.
Scarcity.
Yeah, it
Scarcity,
was like
exactly right.
It was like I could never, like, what I build in 10 years. It's like if it took me 10 years and I got here, it's like there was the mentality of I can't get back here in another 10 years.
Yeah.
Now it's like I'll get back here in 10 months.
Yeah. Look at all the great people that have achieved massive wealth over the years. Like Bezos, 10 years, Amazon was running at a loss. 10 years, and he's the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
Elon Musk had to borrow money for rent. Do you know what I mean? He put everything on the line. I know it's extreme, but we're still talking like 10 years at a loss. Yeah. To have that mindset to keep going and going.
200K.
Yeah, sorry?
Probably paid himself a 200K salary.
Whatever it was. It's at a loss. But even for some of these people, though, a lot of those people that have a huge level of success have come from a place of adversity too. Either a rough childhood, drugs, just hard road. Their ability to push through that difficult time is what got them that money back, or got them that extreme wealth.
Yeah.
And because you've had this level of life experience already, it's like, mate, this is a no-brainer. You're going to come back from it. It's just give me a bit of time.
And one of my greatest mentors, one of the best journeys I think I had during my entrepreneurial life was Andy Frisella. So I'm not sure if you know him.
Big fan. Yeah.
The MF CEO.
It's episode, whatever. We're going to get you on guest, Andy. Stop fucking around.
I had his brother on my podcast.
Oh, really?
Sal, yeah.
Cool.
And I met Andy before the call was on, so that was pretty cool.
You've seen him for sure. You've definitely watched a video.
There's reels of him and all that.
There's
Probably
reels.
100% probably.
He had Almost on his podcast. They had a massive 3-hour chat. It was like good, solid 3 hours of just fire.
And talk about swearing on a podcast. That guy does not stop.
Does not give a fuck. Like
it just goes and goes and goes.
I guarantee you've seen him. He's a gun. He's good.
And anyway, so he started a supplement superstore. So he was buying supplements from other places and then selling it. And over the first 10 years, I think he made 50 grand in total for himself. Not 50 grand a year, 50 grand as a total.
Yeah.
And that was because they kept reinvesting. But because he came from not the best childhood, to be having instant ramen noodles for an extra couple of years didn't hurt him. To be able to, live in the back of a shop because they didn't have much from the beginning, it didn't affect him. So he could push. And then once he's made it, now he's like, I'm never going back.
It's humility.
And that's what fires him now, is he's never going back.
It's humility as well. Being able to say, look, I need to eat shit for a little while.
Yeah.
I need to not care about what my friends think. I've got to move into my mum's basement, you know what I mean, for the next 12 months whilst I build my empire. Just people are not as willing to eat shit for a while as they need to be. You know what I mean? You need to do the best thing for you and the business at the end of the day. And it's like, I use this analogy sometimes when I'm coaching people. It's like, if I have a pill, and I'm sorry if this triggers anyone, it's not about that. It's, say I have a pill to cure cancer, right? And I know if you take this pill, you'll be cured, but I can't force you to take it. I have to sell you to take that pill. Okay? What are you going to do and say to get that person to take that pill? That's effectively what sales is, right, to a degree. Now, for the person, they can't afford this pill, right? And now okay, you've been convinced that this pill is going to cure cancer. Now you have to come up with the money to get it. What are you going to do? Fucking anything you possibly can.
Your back's against the wall.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right. And a lot of people don't take that step because they're scared. They don't go, you know what? I need to find $50,000. Right? It's not my problem you don't have $50,000. You need to find $50,000. This is the best thing for you. Go and find it. I'll give you the pill. Go and find it. You get my course. Go and find it. I give you my contacts.
Yeah.
Okay. That's where it comes in. You go, cool. Here's my 50K. I'm going to go find it. Get a credit card. Go get a personal loan. Borrow off your family. Sell your car. Sell a kidney.
Sell something.
Maybe not that. Just find the
Sell someone else's kidney.
That's it. Sell someone else's kidney. Most people can come up with money if they believe in what you're selling enough.
Yeah.
all it comes down
Or
to.
you flip the script and it becomes not because people will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain something.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, hey, you got to come up with $1 million in the next 7 days, and you're like, how? And then it's like, okay, cool. Come up with $1 million in the next 7 days, or I'm going to wipe out your whole family.
Yeah.
I guarantee you now, what's changed? The 7 days is still the same. The $1 million is still the same. You're still the same.
Yeah.
You've just got more drive because there's something on the line. You'll probably find a way now to come up with that $1 million.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And even if it's not the $1 million, you'd probably get 500,000 or 600,000 of it,
Yeah.
and you go, "Wow, I never knew I could do that in
That's
7
what,
days."
Yeah, that in itself will break the belief.
Yeah.
It
So
breaks-
even if you can't get that million, you still got 50 or 60% out of nowhere, and it just
100%.
happens.
And that's the whole concept, really, of this podcast, $1 Million Days. Like, make $1 million in a day. It's our journey to do that in a single day, but also inviting people to come onto this podcast to discuss their journey of doing that same thing. And it's that scarcity mentality. It's that belief system that they've adopted over the years that, fuck, I only make 60 grand a year. How am I ever going to make $1 million in a day? All right. So breaking that concept, and as you said, you just need the right motivators. And most people are just not willing to put in the work. And touching back on our last episode where we're talking about 32-hour work weeks, right, and having people work less, motherfuckers work 90, 100 hours. If you genuinely want something, right, if you genuinely want to do something great in your life, put in the work.
Put in the effort, yeah.
It's as simple as that. If you don't, you will always be looking through the window at everyone else that has all the shit that you want.
And it's funny, there's books like the 4-Hour Work Week,
Yeah.
and that works, don't get me wrong. But you've got to put your 60, 70, 80 hours in your formative years, and then you can, once you've got your bank account in your business, you can start scaling back. And yeah,
Leverage, man. It's about leveraging a team. It's about getting people to do, like, you don't have to do everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about letting go. It's about building partnerships, getting control, learning how to create those relationships with the right people who are probably better at the thing than you are.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
I love that. Like, I'm a C grade student that hires A grade people.
Yeah.
I don't need to have the degree in whatever, marketing. Just don't need to. I can be a C grade student at that, but employ someone that's an A grade student.
it's so true.
Yeah.
Elon Musk does it as well. He goes, what do you say? I didn't go to Harvard, but the people who work for me did. Oh, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with the barbershop. I don't know how to cut hair. You know, I can do a buzz cut on myself, but I'm not going to charge anyone that money. But what did I do? I found the best barber that I knew, partnered with him, and now I've found the second best barber and put him as a store manager. How do I cut hair? I don't know. But I put the right
But you run
people
the
in the
business,
right
yeah.
spot. And yeah, the back end is all me. And then the thing is, you know, we were talking about how do you start? You've got to get out of that side hustle mentality. You've got
Yeah.
to go balls deep, to
Yeah.
use George's terms.
My terms. I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
That's trademarked by George.
That's it. Trademarked is IP.
George's IP.
Yeah, so you just got to go all in and stop calling it a side hustle.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to learn. You're just going to go, oh, it's a side hustle. I can do 2 hours on that next week.
Yeah.
I'll do 1 hour on it next week. I'll do this. I'll do that. And you never actually learn. You've got to go, hey, I'm going to do 20 to 30 hours on my side hustle and make it my main hustle within 6 months.
Yeah.
And you got to flip that switch in your mind.
Not just that. There's always that safety net. When it's your side hustle and you're working full time, there's always a safety net. I've got a job, I've got a salary, I've got this much coming in, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And your back's not against the wall. Like to go back to what we're talking about with that $1 million in 7 days or the 60 grand or whatever it is. If your back's not against the wall, you won't do what you need to do to work out what the next step is. You know what I mean? You'll be like, it's all right. The rent's going to get paid. It's when the rent's not going to get paid.
Yeah.
And then you're like, holy fuck, I need to work out how to work this shit out, or how to get an extra 6K, 8K, 20K, 100K, whatever it is in this month.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, I'm going to fucking be kicked out of this place and we're going to be on the street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's when you're in that position, that's when you learn. That's what separates the men from the boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you learn how you love this. That's when you learn the skills that you need to know to go to that next level. You talk about leveraging people who are industry experts. What do you think are the key skills that you need to have to not be an industry expert, but to partner with people and then be able to, like for example, marketing and sales? Like you need that in every business. If you can't sell, people can't buy your shit. Like you need to make it available to them. Marketing, fundamental. What else do you think is really important for people to understand, for them to put themselves in that position? You know what I mean?
I think strong leadership qualities is definitely
Leadership's a massive one.
a stable leader as well, not an emotional leader. You could be a great leader but have too much emotion,
Yeah, that's not a good leader.
and it's very difficult. I've had days where I've gone to 3 or 4 of my businesses, and in the same day, one person's quit at each business. How do you go to your next business meeting and not have any of that emotion and try and rally the team behind you?
So how do you do that?
You just got to remove emotion. Nothing's personal. A lot of people say, oh, someone's leaving my business because they don't like me. It's not that. Maybe they wanted more money. Maybe they're moving overseas. Maybe they're doing all these other things. And I can't sit here and overthink why they're leaving.
Everyone's got different motivators.
Exactly. So we've just got to say, it's not personal to me. It is what it is. Time to move on. How do I go to the next business and try and leverage that and try and build it and try and put some just some happy energies and positive vibes in. And I've just got to constantly be bringing myself back to that sort of situation.
It's also part of being an entrepreneur, though. You have to be able to, you're going to come across this shit. If you don't want to do that, then don't start a business.
Yeah.
You can be a really good number 2 or 3 at a business and make a shitload of money.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an owner or an entrepreneur. And I think there is that stigma, not that stigma, there's that cultural belief now that, having entrepreneur on your name tag is really cool and it's the thing to do and that's how I'm going to be successful. Now, don't get me wrong. I genuinely think everyone in the country should have a business because it's a way to leverage the system in your favor. However, not everyone's built for that. And you're going to come across days where it's hard, where you have to make tough calls, where things outside of your control will affect your business. And you have to be like, cool, this is how I'm going to fix this, move on. That's it.
I love that. And I've talked about this before on my podcast, and we use the term intrapreneur. So sometimes you can just be a great worker in someone's business and build their dream, but you don't have all the risk. And some people, that's what they love and that's what they want to build. And
Great employees.
Yeah, great employees.
Do you know what I mean? Like I've got a few of those and that's what you want in the business. Someone that genuinely cares. And they get rewarded as well.
Of course.
But also can push the business in the right direction. And then, you can reward them with either a slice of the pie.
Yep.
You can give them more pay, more benefits, a whole range of things. 32-hour work weeks. Fucking bullshit, Josh.
Yeah, but then at the same time, all of a sudden they don't have to have the risk of being in, like, owning their own business, and they're a bit more comfortable.
They want the safety net. They want the salary.
That's what
they
it
want
is.
to know that no matter what happens, if there's
I've
no
got this.
sales this month, I still get my whatever it is per month.
Do you think it's modern day slavery? What do you reckon about that? So, as in, think about a slave. All right.
That made us all smile.
Yeah, I know, but just think about a slave. Oh, do this work and I will give you a meal.
Yeah.
Work this hard and you get to live. Work this hard and I'll give you 30 cents.
Okay, now hold on though.
Yeah.
There is no. All right. I'll.
As in, you're
challenge
trapped
what
in the.
you're
I'm just saying you're trapped in the work. Right. Well, what else are you going to do?
You choose to do that though.
Yeah, I know. But if you
I'm
what
a
you want to
big
live off the
believer in-
grid?
Hey?
You want to go live off the land in
We
the
live,
bush somewhere?
so I think in many countries they have the same thing, but you can actually.
I'm just
live off
saying
the
in
dole
Western.
here.
I'm saying
you can actually live
Western-
off the dole. You can survive off the dole. You're not going to live a great life. You're not
I'll
gonna,
do
it's not
that.
going to be fancy.
Let's do that.
But you could survive off the dole.
I'm sure
you
there
don't
are people
have
that
to
do.
work.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You get to. Yeah. And I love that you bring that up every single time. I actually made a broadcast channel on Instagram and it's called Get to Work.
Yeah.
Why? Because we fucking get to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm saying most people though are not going to fit into that bracket.
Most people.
Not into the dole bracket, as in I'd say 90% of the population
Yeah.
cannot sit at home for $200 a day.
They could.
And have no. You reckon most of the population would do? If they could, why aren't they?
Because they want a nicer lifestyle.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
on that basis,
So,
90%
yeah,
of the population can't do that.
That's their choice.
That's right.
So it's not slavery.
No, I'm saying in the sense that that's how they get they have to have a job if they want those nicer things. Right? Oh, I want a nice warm meal tonight. Cool, go pick cotton for the next 14 hours and then I'll give you a nice warm meal.
No, that's slavery.
But I'm just saying, if you twist it, how's the government
But
doing
he's
anything
saying
different?
modern slavery.
That's right. I'm just saying,
You know what?
how's
I
the
used
government
to-
now
I used
doing
to,
anything different? Go and work your PAYG,
Yeah.
right? I'm going to take my cut because before I pay you, I'm paying me. Now, you want the car? Cool. You need to work more. Oh, you should have the great Australian dream, own your own home.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you've allowed
Again,
yourself to be
you're in-
sold into that.
Yes, that's
You've
right.
allowed yourself to believe that you
right.
need the nicer car.
Okay,
Or
well, same with
what
the slave.
insecurities are you covering up for? Like, why do you need the nice? That's the biggest
Okay.
mistake people in business make as well.
But they sell you
start to
that
make
dream.
some money.
They sell you that dream. Okay, work for me for 5 years and I'll
You
give you
choose,
your freedom.
dude. Hey, you choose to buy at the end of the day. You
course
can't
they
be
do.
sold. You can't sell me shit.
So
I
what-
choose to buy.
But there's
Yeah?
almost no choice. That's right. But
Yeah.
they almost have been conditioned to have no choice other than to have those
so
things.
that's their fault for lacking awareness. I have no sympathy.
I know. Oh, not
At all.
You're not understanding. I'm not.
At all,
I'm just
yeah.
saying the system is set up for modern day slavery without anyone calling it slave. But you are a slave. You're a slave to your job to live this life that is put in front of you.
And even if you're a high income earner, let's say you're making $500,000
Yep.
a year in Australia,
Like you're a CEO of.
47.5%.
That's right. Half of it goes
Half
away.
of 6 months of your year is the government
That's it.
Yeah.
before you start earning a cent.
So do you think the rich should be taxed less?
It depends on what. That's such
No,
a
what-
blanket statement.
Why? No. It's a very clear statement. Do you think the rich should be taxed less than what they are now? You don't
I
believe
think-
that the more you earn, the more you should. Bless you. You
Bless
don't
you.
believe the more you earn, the more you should.
I think in Australia it should be a flat rate. So
Across the
15%
board?
of what you earn is taxed, and that's it. Doesn't matter what bracket you're in.
Yeah, fair enough.
So you earn more, you're still going to pay more tax, but it should just be at a flat, like the company tax
Here's
is
the
at
thing with wealthy
25%.
people too, though.
Yeah.
Right. And they're getting punished for being more successful. The more successful you are, the more you get punished as a result of that, with taxes, with all that sort of shit. They're
yeah,
generally the ones.
That's a shit belief.
No, well,
Sorry.
In this country, you think it's different.
It's not punished.
How are they not?
It's not. Someone come up to me once
In
and
this
they're like,
country.
do you know how much tax I paid last month? And I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's good. You
that
should
means you
wanna
make a
pay-
fuck ton
that's
of
right.
money.
You should
That
want to
means
pay a lot
you
of tax.
made a
Absolutely.
lot of money. You
Yeah,
know
that's
what I mean?
right.
How's that a bad thing? Are you bragging?
No,
Is that
but
what you're doing?
they're being punished in the sense from the government.
They were
You're making more.
They were actually
we're going to take
whining.
more.
They were actually complaining.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the system is set up so that they're getting punished for being more successful.
Yeah, look, I think
Right? But my point here is, fuck, now I've lost my point.
It's all right. Like going back to what George was saying, everyone in Australia should have some type of business
Oh.
because you can. I don't know
You
if
can
that
leverage.
clicked you. Yeah, I don't
you
know.
can leverage. Yes, it has. So generally the people that are making more money are the ones that are going to turn the wheels of the economy as well. If you're making a lot more money, you're going to spend a lot more money too.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to either let's just say it's not a job that you're earning $500,000. If you have a business that is turning over $20 million, well, you're employing people. Okay? You're buying equipment.
you're
buying
a
things like-
positive benefit to the
That's
economy.
right. And a lot of the
100%.
time in this country, we get penalised the bigger we get. If I have a payroll over $750,000 a year, I get taxed on that because I'm
5%
employing
extra.
What? Go fuck yourself. I'm helping you. I'm employing people, and now you're saying as a result of that, here we're going to take more money because you're contributing to society, because you're employing more people. I'm going to tax your business for being more successful.
And it's not just 750 in payroll; it's 750 including super as well.
That's
so
right.
that's like
So now,
Oh, including super. It's not plus; it's including.
It's like 670.
that's right. So now I'm like, cool. I'll just keep it under that.
Yeah.
What's the incentive? But
Aren't you just falling into their trap?
Kind of
like,
to
is
a
that
degree,
not?
yes.
Is that not? No, hold on.
I know what you're saying, yes, but then just
it's
go
a
stuff
really
it. It's one of those things.
Hold
But I'm
on,
just
hold
saying
on.
we're
Okay.
being punished.
No, you're not.
How?
You choose to live here.
I know. Yes, you're
choose.
right.
Australia
right.
has one of the best quality of life. Like if you go travel
100%.
the world and you go see how Europe is a beautiful place.
Yeah.
We have a way better quality of life here.
Absolutely, I've got no doubt
Way
about
better
that.
quality
I'm
of
just
life.
saying we're just saying the reward for the success is you get this. You're getting things are more against you, where it should be the other way around.
So go create your own country.
Oh, fucking
And-
I would.
You know, or go live in Dubai.
Did you come?
To Dubai.
No, to live in
100%.
I'm going to buy a country.
Yeah. Where do you live, George?
In the Cayman Islands somewhere.
Country George.
But
You gonna add
but
something?
imagine if they flip the concept. Say, cool, you hit 750K in payroll, we're going to give you 5% credit.
Yeah, but
Excellent. I'll go employ 15 more people.
Yeah, but now this is, I think Tom.
How do you get a business off the ground if the big guys have got all the advantage?
Oh yeah, because then what he's saying is if you incentivize people who are already, because the gap between the rich and the poor just keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? Yeah, we all agree on that.
Yep.
So how do you incentivize the little guy if the bigger guys are getting all the advantages? Like you're saying that you
that's a
should
good
get
question.
a 5% credit,
That's a
not
good
a 5% fee, and it's like, well, maybe they're trying to even the play. I don't know. It's just
Oh, I know
different way
what
of
it
looking
is.
at it.
I know they're
Maybe
just
they're
trying to get as much money as possible.
of course
on
it
their
takes
grubby
money
hand.
to run a country.
No, yeah, but
It
we're
does.
one of the
Dubai's
highest.
rich.
I know, but we're one of the most taxed countries in the world.
Yeah, so are most of
We've
the
also got
ones-
one of the biggest governments in terms
too
of
many-
government
too many
employees,
politicians.
council
Yeah.
employees, all this. We've got one of the biggest spending, so you've got to pay them somehow.
Yeah.
So then they raise the taxes.
But isn't it nice? Like, look, we're on Bay Street now. There's trees. It's nice, always clean. You walk around, the roads are clean.
But I think going to what
No,
Tom was asking, how do you start a company when there's all these big guys around you?
Yeah, so
The-
they'd be
the-
saying, so cool, we've got Tom on board now. And if it was a big corporation, say, Tom, come work with me. I'm going to give you X amount more. So now we suffer as a small business not being able to get someone of Tom's caliber.
Yeah.
So you're saying?
Oh,
Okay,
no, I think-
okay. I hear what you're saying.
Incentivized to go to the big dogs.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. All right, no issues. But that's a scarcity mentality in itself. So what? You're telling me there's only one Tom? We gotta get someone else. They're not going to employ all the Toms in the world. Do you know what I mean? There's not enough Toms to go around. Hey, you like this, Tom? It was a great analogy. But there's not enough Toms to go around. So the small guy's always going to have someone to buy and to play. And you know what? Not everyone wants to work for the big corporations either. But
think-
they're the ones, though, if you want to drive the economy, if you want to do that, but you should be helping those people employ people and bring them into the country, not penalise them as a result of it. And it's that tall, mate, the world knows about this now, tall poppy syndrome.
Yeah,
The whole world knows what tall poppy syndrome is. It used to be a point where no one used to understand what that is.
just in Australia.
That's it. But it's an Australian term. We bring down those super successful people. We bring down anyone that does something different and achieves great things.
So do you think tall poppy syndrome, the government is what the government's doing as well? Like, because
No,
tall
no,
poppy
no,
syndrome
I
is
don't
about
think
culture.
so.
It's
I
a
don't-
culture thing.
yeah,
it's
that's
about
right.
shooting
No,
someone down.
I
for
just think the
doing big
government
things.
just trying to milk everything in every way.
You just hate the government, huh?
Oh, they're fuckwits. Absolutely. Honestly, I'd love to be Prime Minister. I'd be
You
like
would?
a Trump. Yeah.
I'd vote for you.
Thanks, man. Would you?
I'd-
Oh, of course, yeah.
Absolutely. Tom? Yep. He's nodding.
Can I be
Right hand man?
Sorry, right hand. Yeah, yeah.
100%.
I'm in deputy prime
Can
minister.
I be the driver?
Yeah, of course.
Of the limo.
I'm
I
sure
would
you-
be Prime Minister because I feel that I would affect change in a positive way. But I'd be like Trump. I'd be the most loved Prime Minister and I'd also be the most hated Prime Minister at the same time.
Yeah, there's no one who's in the middle with
No,
Trump.
no, but that's it. You're either
Yeah,
one of
he
the. But
draws
that's
the
the
line.
thing.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
He draws the line.
Exactly right.
He's
And
great.
we
Talk about
lack
personal
that in this
brand.
country. We lack that hugely
'cause-
as far as our leaders are
But
concerned.
that's a downside to, yeah, you want to talk politics, that's a downside to, is it Democrat? Not Democrat, a democracy.
Yeah.
That's a downside to a democracy because the people vote.
You have to buy in.
You
That's
have to, yeah. I need to keep as many people. Trump is smart.
That's right.
He went off population, like, you know what I mean? He's very smart in his approach in the way he went about it. And he went off, I know who my target market is.
That's right.
And
I'm gonna
I know
target
who
them.
I'm going to, yeah. And I know
will
they
vote.
feel this way about particular things.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go out and I'm going to say that. And yes, some people are going to, there's people you can't even mention Trump in front of.
Yeah.
They're like, I fucking hate that guy, da, da, da. And then other people are like, this guy's like God. Like, complete fanatics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And politicians here can't do that, because if they do that, they're gonna lose. We are so diverse as a culture. There is no, you know how America's got the whole black thing?
Yeah.
There isn't that here.
Yeah.
Like, there is no one particular thing. You know what I mean? There's Greeks, Lebos, Italians, Turks. Like, it's such Asians, like such a diverse culture here.
100%.
How do you
Very
win?
No, exactly right.
Yeah,
You
where
never
do
will.
you draw the line?
You never will. You won't. It will not work in this country
Yeah,
for that
you-
reason. Because every politician as well is there trying to win the votes, so they will do
That's-
what the
they
vast
will-
majority want.
Well, they will
and
say,
that's why you
they
look.
will say what the vast majority want
Yeah,
to
that's
hear.
what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, that's why it's such a strong Labor country, right? It's not that because the majority of the workforce is who is populating the country. So I think a lot of the time they say, "Oh, cool, vote for us. We'll give you $5,000 next year, everyone in the country." Do you know what I mean? And you're going to get that. The majority of people say, "Yeah, absolutely, I'll take that." Whereas me as a business owner will say, "Well, fuck, where's that money coming from?" Or I'm going to give another public holiday. That's what pissed me off more than anything during fucking COVID. When Andrews, you fuckwit, if you are watching this, you are a fuckwit of the highest accord.
But share it.
Tag him in it.
Tag him. He comes out and he gave, after we were in lockdown for about 3 months, and he came out and gave a public holiday. He brought in the public holiday for the grand final parade. Oh, the Victorians deserve a day off. You fucking idiot. You have brought every business to its knees, and you are, as a reward, you're giving everyone, you're making them pay for a day off for every single employee
Yeah.
for a parade which is really doesn't need a day off.
Well, it's
in my
two
opinion.
teams essentially. So
Yeah, but it doesn't. It,
you know,
it did, but
and,
just
and
back
how many
then,
and
the
then how
time
many
that it
people
came-
follow the two teams, and then how many people follow AFL in Victoria?
Yeah.
It could only be 500,000 people, but 6 million people are having to take the day
I
off.
love AFL. It's my sport of choice. I love it. I'll watch any game. I'll always go down that path. But even me in that moment, you didn't need to do. It was probably bad timing, which pissed me off more than anything. That we were in lockdown for 3 months, and then he comes out the week up. We get out for a week. Says, "Oh, by the way, here's another public holiday." Yeah, great. So I've just lost all this money. Now I have to pay everyone for another day off as well. But again, problems a business owner has.
Yeah.
All right, like chin up, keep going. But I'm just saying,
Also, that's someone playing to the masses.
absolutely.
We're way more employees than our
Absolutely.
business owners.
That's what I was saying before.
Yeah, that's
that's
playing
how
for the
they.
masses.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. So that's what I'm saying. But
He'd already shook the world, or like when I say the world, like Victoria.
Our world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
shook
yeah,
our
yeah,
world. He'd
yeah.
already shook our world, and he's like, how can I win these people over?
yeah,
If he had not given that, there would be way more people saying this guy's fucked than
I don't know. I
Good
don't think so. I don't think that public holiday swayed people in any way.
Dude, he's got some fans. There was people who were
Obviously,
on
people
his,
still voted for him.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but I mean,
There's
even
people
that,
who
even
were
that was
still on his
arguable.
side
It was
saying,
like
"Thank
30%
you."
of people that voted for him, and then all the independents got him over the line. But that's
Well,
again,
the thing-
dud stock from the opposition.
yeah.
Well, the
Who
thing
was
with
going against
politics-
him? There was no one worthy of going up
So
there. Do you know what I
what are
mean?
you saying? We need a Trump.
I would love to see a Trump. Honestly, I
Australia?
would. Yeah, honestly, I would. Because at least they're going to be
Sure,
hard
sure.
nosed and say, "This is what we're doing."
No, you would've, man.
shut
You
your
would've.
fucking mouth. This is what we're doing.
But,
Do you know what I
but
mean?
we
That's what they
had
gotta
we
do.
had someone like that.
Who?
Tony Abbott.
Yeah,
He
I
won in a
voted for it.
landslide.
Yeah, I voted
He
for
he
it.
won 90 seats to 52.
Yeah,
That's almost 40.
yeah,
That's a landslide in anything.
Yeah.
And the media kicked him out.
That's right.
Because the Conservatives don't know how to market themselves.
That's right.
Because they're the business owner. They remove emotions. They don't play to people's emotions like Dan Andrews. Oh, your kids are going to do this. Your
That's it.
grandparents are going to die. This and
I'm here
that.
to protect lives.
Exactly.
I'm here
So
to
they
protect them at the expense of destroying them.
they push emotion over,
Logic.
logic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Common sense. Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, that's the issue with the Australian politics is the Conservatives don't know how to market like the left.
Yeah.
They use emotion over common sense. Now that comes to the American politics as well, and that's why when Trump came in, you mentioned it before. What does every great business owner know? You have to market. Trump came out and marketed bigger and bolder to the right groups, and he came through, and all of a sudden he won out of nowhere.
I went to the, what was it?
10X.
In 2019, the 10X Growth Conference.
How do I know
And
you were going there?
Yeah, so it was just before COVID, and it was for Grant Cardone's event. And I went there with my brother and a mate, and one of the guest speakers that was there was the head of marketing for Trump's campaign. Really fucking interesting what he was saying. Like he said never before in the history of any campaign had someone spent so much money on the marketing, but then able to influence the vote as a direct result of that too.
Yeah,
Influence
yeah,
people's decision by they tapped into the AI of Facebook. They got the algorithm down pat.
There's a whole Netflix thing.
Yeah.
doc
Oh,
about
I
it.
haven't seen that, but it would be interesting to watch. And he was saying, this is him. He was being interviewed on stage. He goes, through the marketing, we were able to target specific people, specific time of the day, knowing that they would watch it at that time and it would influence their decision to vote for Trump. He goes, we broke the code. We
course.
spent that much money on the ads that we broke the system to our favor. Right?
And you
There you
guys were
go.
talking about the difference between $1 million and $1 billion the other day. And
Everyone loves that concept. You know how much people have had message me? It's
Really?
Like, hey, man.
Million-
Is that real?
million.
They're like, is that real? I'm like,
Get
of
your
course it's real.
Get your calculator out.
Yeah, play a calculator. Go do the math.
it is.
Like,
It is
honestly,
real.
I think-
But
Yeah, but
if
if
Trump
I said
is
to you
pushing
$1 million or $1 billion,
Yeah.
people don't buy it. They're like, oh yeah, same shit. But then you tell them the different format, and all of a sudden they're like, wait, what? Like that much? It's like, yeah, that much.
It's
like,
1,000
You
millions.
think about how much money those fuckers have. Like, it's a fuck ton.
Yeah.
You couldn't blow. It'd be very hard to blow billions of dollars. It'd be very hard. Like you
very-
would have to purposely sit there.
It'd be very fun too.
Oh,
It'd be so much fun.
we'd have a super yacht and a helicopter
That's
landing on
happening
the
anyway.
super.
I was speaking to someone today actually about that, funny enough, how they bought a property in Sorrento.
Yep.
And they built 2 massive homes on it, and then they wanted to do like a little beach shack on the beachfront, which was on a cliff, because they couldn't get a crane big enough to put like the stairs or the escalator or the lift or whatever it was. So they got a chopper in from like the army or whatever, one of those big cargo type choppers, to bring it in
To just lower
and
it.
lower it into place because they couldn't do it. Like, that's the sort of sick shit I'm talking about with when you got money, you
Yeah.
can just do that stuff. It's like, how are we going to do it? Just, fuck, I don't care. Call Qantas, get a chopper in. Like, just whoever.
Just do it,
Yeah,
yeah.
just make it happen. I don't care.
Just call, call the
Money
army. Just call the
That's
army.
it.
Yeah,
Call
yeah.
someone. Let's
Yeah,
get
well,
it happening.
when you're prime minister, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously. When you're Dan Andrews, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Dan Andrews.
It was his property.
Well, he owns the peninsula. he earned more money than the prime minister.
There you go. Mate, I don't know how, in all honesty, I don't know how he could walk down the street in Melbourne.
Oh,
I don't see it. It's funny because I'm still yet to meet a supporter of him. And if you are,
I
like
think-
say, I don't mind. But I'm still yet
No,
to
yeah,
see
I
someone that
also-
genuinely goes,
Yeah.
you know what, he did a really good job. I respect him. I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
And can I just say, because I'm not just some Labor basher or anything like that, I actually thought at the very beginning of COVID, so 2019, he was doing a good job. Because I didn't know anything about COVID. I thought it was a disease. Cool. It's okay. I'm relatively safe. I'm young. It could affect your parents. It could affect your people with breathing issues. So I actually didn't mind his approach to some short lockdowns, to restrictions. I thought, yep, cool. Happy to go along and play along. But then when you got more educated on what it was and how the extremes that we were going to, that made no fucking sense. Hey, you can only be in a circle of 3 people, but you can go to Coles with 4 billion people trying to fight over toilet.
but only one person from a household per day.
That's right. Like,
But, you know, it's gonna change.
The logic, it was just completely stupid, and it affected me because I'm a logical person.
Yeah, and the disease stops at 8 p.m. So we've
Yeah,
got
that's
a
right.
curfew.
That's it. So
That's it.
You're exactly right. And the fact that he thinks he could walk down the street surprises me. I reckon if he was to walk down Bay Street right now, he would cop abuse from someone.
Yeah.
And I'd honestly be one of them. I'd probably tell him what I think. Let's go, you're a dickhead, whatever, and just walk by. Like, I wouldn't hit him. But I wouldn't line him up and just give him an elbow like this. So
You'd actually yell something though.
I think if he walked past me, I would fucking say something, absolutely.
Oh, really?
100%.
Okay.
I'd say the
So-
audacity to think you could walk past me and think you're not going to get a go fuck
audacity to
yourself
think you could walk past George Passes
and not get a
and
fuck
not
you.
yeah.
It's just...
And get nothing. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you,
wrong
mate? But I don't feel like a lot of... I am being extreme now, but a lot of people I think would be in that same
Yeah, of
boat.
course. Just
I mean,
give them a
cafe
bit of a
owners.
spray.
Even cafe owners, they had to shut down their business for God knows how long. If he came in and got a coffee from my cafe, I would watch. I go, Mr. Andrews? He's like, yeah, the small latte? Yeah, cool. I'd take the lid off, I'd spit in it, and then I'd give it back to him. There you go, sir. Okay, it's on the house.
But mind you, that's the people who are strong enough to last. There's so many cafe owners who have
obliterated.
long gone.
Wiped out,
Yeah, yeah.
Obliterated. But
So
I
that's
mean-
the people who still were strong enough to last through that whole thing. Now I'll give credit where credit's due.
Yeah.
The railway crossings.
Yep.
Him putting them as bridges.
Yep.
Great thing that
Fantastic,
he did.
yeah?
So I'll give him credit where credit's
Cool.
due.
Let me shut that down
Yeah.
quickly for you. The day I realised he was a fuckwit of the highest
Yeah.
accord was he spent $1 billion not to build East West Link.
Oh yeah, I
And
knew
he goes,
that,
oh,
yeah.
we're not going to do that, we're not going to do that, but we are going to build these railway lines above. And yeah, they're great. But he spent $1 billion.
When the
With a
project
B.
Was
was
that with a B?
With a B.
Well, that's with a B.
The B.
With a fucking B. And if you don't know the analogy, go back a couple of episodes and listen to how Robbie describes a million and a billion.
Get your shit together
He's-
and watch episode 1.
Stop fucking around. B, he spent $1 billion not to build something.
when the federal government also gave 800 million,
Yep.
and the project was 3 billion.
Yep. And so back then it was, so I used to work for Abbey Group,
Yep.
who had a huge civil division. Abbey Group got bought out by Lend-Lease because of their huge civil division and ability to build projects like that, roads and all that sort of stuff. Lend-Lease were the builder for the East-West Link, and they acquired Abbey Group as a result of doing that. They got a lot of that money.
Yeah, compensation money.
100%. They were signed contracts. They'd started the project, and this fuckwit paid $1 billion not to build it because it got him votes to raise train tracks.
Yeah.
And he got him in power.
Now
I knew he was a dickhead then, and then it just confirmed it during COVID.
And the funniest thing was they went and did a survey, get the top 100 people to say, how do we fix this transit issue in Melbourne? How do we make sure there's no traffic for the next 20 years? First thing they said, East-West Link,
Yeah.
even though he just scrapped it.
Yeah.
So it was
And then it'll
spending
get built.
another...
It'll get built. I've
Yeah.
got no, because the plans are there. So it's stupid. It'll be something like the opposition party now will come and say, hey, we're going to put this back on the map and actually get it done because we need it. And we do. I don't live that side of town, but I know the people that if it was there, they would be using it for sure.
Yeah.
So yes,
What
it was
is So
good,
takes
but it
you
was at
from
the expense
west
of
to the east side. Like,
So
East
we're-
West Link. I'll let
see-
you. East West Link. I'll let you do the maths.
I've never,
So where East Link, Eastern Freeway is,
Freeway, yeah.
where Hoddle Street is, it's a tunnel to go under into the Tullamarine Freeway.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, so you're bypassing that whole.
Yeah, so there's no zoo,
yeah.
where the zoo is.
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
go
yeah,
down there, no
yeah.
Flemington Road. It goes straight under as a tunnel and just takes you straight through. So you don't have to go down Alexandra Parade, none of that
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But there's so many speed cameras on that street. I think there's 6 speed cameras. So
Alexander Parade. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
like 6 in a row.
so
I hate that street.
revenue raising. Why would it take it off the revenue?
Yeah, well, that's right.
Well, you can just charge
So-
you 5% on your 750.
Tollways.
That's it.
Just get tollways.
That's it. So
So
Yeah, so
income
that
streams
annoyed
and
me. Anyway.
Dan Andrews is
I never thought-
tollways
I never
and
told you.
I told you it goes
I
sideways.
did not think this was going to be
I
political
told
today.
you it goes sideways every single time.
Every time. But it's got some good conversation at least anyway.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's going to be people that disagree with what I'm saying as well. And that's cool.
Yeah, just don't vote for him for Prime Minister.
Don't vote for, exactly.
I will.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
But that's the whole thing about having, businesses that you can grow. You need healthy conversations like this. You can't just all be yes men
Oh,
or
yeah,
yes
then
women
you
around.
become-
You have to have this healthy conversation because otherwise there's no growth. You need to hear things that you don't want to hear.
Well, if you
But
don't,
sometimes that triggers you.
if you don't hear something you don't want to hear or something new to you, you're never going to learn. You're never going to grow.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
that's why
and-
you need those coaches and mentors and all that sort of
You know,
stuff.
the society of people who are all a bunch of blobs. I was going to say flogs.
I don't think we're far off from that.
No, you reckon?
It's getting worse and worse. I think with
I think
the
no,
amount
I
of
think
time
you're
people
getting-
are on
I
social
think
media,
You're getting better and better.
potentially.
What was
That's
the
it
question?
is.
You're saying people are what?
No, because then
What was the
people.
statement, sorry?
He's saying if we didn't have these sorts of conversations, there'd be no growth. Everyone would be a bunch of blobs. Like everyone
Yeah,
would
yeah.
become a bunch of basically yes
Zombies,
men.
yeah.
Yeah, zombies. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going through life, and a bunch of people are zombies going through life. Don't get me wrong. People lack awareness, but he's saying it's getting worse, and I said no. I think you're just getting better. And then when you get better, you look back and then you start to notice more of how everyone else is in a particular way.
Yeah. I've got a question. You've got a diverse portfolio of businesses. Do you find it difficult to find good employees?
Not really.
Yeah. So
I
why? Because I mean, from what I hear, a lot of people find it difficult. What's your take on that?
A lot of people do say it's difficult.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, like Tom.
That's it. He was so triggered by that he tripped over the camera.
I think that if you have a standard and you offer someone what they think they're worth, which a lot of the time, currently it seems to be an employee's market at the moment. So you've got to offer someone 10% or 15% more than what is probably the going rate. But then you have to come down harder on the standards. So this is what you have to do. This is what you must do. If you're not hitting these targets within 3 months, then your probationary period, you're gone.
Yeah.
And I find that when you draw the line in the sand, you give people the money that they think that they're worth, they start acting like that because you've put that line in the sand.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just hiring people just to fill a spot and you're like, oh yeah, just jump in, or here's a pair of scissors, cut some hair, or do this, do that. At the end of the day, they're just going to be what you expect them to be, just someone with a pair of scissors.
Yeah, that's it. Do you want to tell me?
I was just going to say, are you finding differences in the quality of employees between different age demographics in your different businesses?
Yeah, there are. Like we've taken on a couple of, between 18 and
Gen Zs or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, I find that they're less likely to turn up to work. But once you've put an expectation in, because they're still close to the school age, and you become like a school teacher, this is what's mandatory, this is what you have to do. I find that they fall in line quicker than the older generation. And especially because I'm 35 and I'm employing people that are 60. Some of these people have had their own businesses and they've been around longer than I have, and they've dealt with so many other bosses, or they've been the boss. I find them more difficult to deal with than the younger generation.
Oh, that's an interesting outlook. Most people have, old school better, blah, blah, blah.
The work ethic's better, don't get me wrong, but
From the older?
from the older, yes.
I've heard this. I had this conversation with someone too. It's not necessarily worse or better. It's different.
Yeah.
You've just got to.
It's a different society. They're going
That's
through a
right.
different
They've
time.
got,
You've
they're
got to
exactly
understand
right.
they're different
And
humans.
a lot of these, baby boomers or whatever they are, the ones.
Millennials.
What's the one before? What
Baby
am I?
boomers.
I don't know what I am.
You're a
Y?
millennial.
Z, X, Y, Z.
What are
You're
you?
a Triple Z.
Triple Z. I'm Triple Z. I
Dragon,
like to
Dragon
sound.
Ball Z.
I'm in 88. I don't know what
I
that
don't
is.
even know. I don't know what it is.
You're all
Regardless,
millennials, all
it's
of you. You're all
some of these
millennials.
people.
What
like
about
they're
you?
saying, oh, they're-
Me, I'm millennial too.
You're all. You're excluded from this.
Pinpointing.
That's it. But they're saying
Sorry,
you're
George.
bad
You're
at.
all
Shut the fuck up. You're bad at. You got a bad work ethic. Well, where did they get that from? Generally, the parents that are the ones saying you've got a bad work ethic. Well, motherfuckers, you didn't raise them right. You should have raised them so they had a better work ethic. So I also think you've got to tailor the position a little bit towards their strengths and how they're brought up, and then you get the best out of them. Do you think, as a society, generalization, do you reckon people are lazier than what they used to be, say pre-COVID?
I wouldn't say lazier. I think that they've seen a light to being able to work from home for a lot of people. And they said, we did the same stuff from home.
Yeah.
Why do we still have to come to the office? And I feel like they drag their feet now to drive 40 minutes in traffic or an hour in traffic when we could still do the same thing from home and have a better quality of life.
Okay, but here's another way to look at it as well. We live now in a generation where there's people making a fuck ton of money just from making TikTok videos or YouTube videos. Yeah. How do you now go convince yourself to get up and go do 40 hours a week?
That's right.
65K when you know that there's someone making 65K a month doing YouTube.
The
And
internet
you're like,
has
how
leveled
do I?
things too.
Yeah.
It's
and
not
like,
so much society or COVID. I reckon the internet is what the leveler is. Because now, as you said, you don't have to go and work 40 hours a week making 60 grand a year. You could work 40 hours or 20 hours selling paddle pop sticks, making 20 grand a month.
Yeah, doing something completely different.
That's it. Just in your underwear. And there's a lot. The internet has leveled that completely because it's also the value of a degree. Like degrees back in the 80s were really powerful because you needed the degree to get that good job to get paid well.
Yep.
Now you just need a computer education as far as the space that you're trying to sell at and go from there. I'll tell a quick story before you jump in. Someone I know, whom I won't mention the connection, but their partner had a skincare business, and that skincare business put her through university to get a legal degree, right? To get that paid. So it was $200,000 for the degree. She paid for it in full through that skincare business. She then stopped that business and got a job as a, whatever they're called.
Um,
A
Barrister.
lawyer, yeah, what are they
Solicitor.
called? Whatever. Undergrads or some
Yeah.
shit. I don't know, whatever. Paralegal.
Paralegal. Yeah.
Paralegal, that's what I was looking for. Making 60 grand a year.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I go, your missus is a fucking idiot. He's like, why? She should have tripled down on her skincare business.
Yeah.
Okay, because you know what's cool being you're a lawyer, do you know what's better than 60 grand a year? 60 grand a month.
Yeah.
Just triple down on that. You had a successful thing going that's paid for your full uni degree. And okay, if you want to fall, if it doesn't work out, guess what? You can always fall back to being a lawyer and working 200 hours a week, sorry.
Is
You know?
she still doing the lawyer thing?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's,
looking
Yeah.
to buy the business.
you are.
100%. It's got a model that's working at the moment. So yeah, I would be interested
The,
in
the
that.
skin business
Yeah.
or the lawyer business?
No, the skin business.
Oh, okay.
Like that
Do you need a
business
partner?
had.
Do you?
Maybe. I don't know much about it, so you could probably. I don't know anything. Know nothing about that space.
Yeah.
All
Well, I'm
and
in
then
the
I'll be
beauty
calling
business
you for
a few times over.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go. But I could call you. Well, I got the connection now.
That's it.
All right. Maybe I could say, hey, is this worth it? Before I buy it, have that conversation with you. Say, show me the numbers. Show me this. Show me that. This is the challenges. This is the good shit. And I can come to you. Can I market this? Yes, you can. No, you can't.
Yeah, you
so
can
you've
for
got to
sure.
do that research, but it worked to a degree because it paid for her degree. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I look at it and go, mate, you should have tripled down on that after uni instead of fucking around. And this comes back down to that. She, in her mind, was always a side hustle. Do you know what I mean? Like we were
Talk
saying,
about going
it was
full circle.
hard.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it. Coming back to what we're talking about, it was obviously subconsciously, it's just a side hustle.
But
this
also-
is just to pay for my shit so I can become a lawyer.
Okay, can I challenge what you're
100%.
saying? What if she wanted to become a lawyer? Like, what if that was her dream?
Oh, 100%. And that's each of their own.
know
No
what I mean?
issues. Absolutely great.
Yeah,
well
like,
done.
But
what if that's what she
also,
wanted?
also, let's say, why did she want to become a lawyer? Is it because she wanted to do better for the community, this, that, whatever? If she had a great business running in the background that she stepped out of but put an ops manager in, making that 60 grand a month or whatever, she could still be a philanthropist lawyer.
Yeah.
Going out, doing cases pro bono for whoever. And hey, I want to represent you. I'm really passionate about this case. She doesn't have to worry about money.
Maybe she
The
just
business
loved the
is just
show
ticking
Suits.
over in the back.
Maybe she loved the show Suits.
I looked into becoming a lawyer when I watched Suits.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like, let me just
That's
let me
what
just
it
suss
is.
if I can do this. Like,
That's what it is. Corporate law.
Suits is
Cool show.
cool show.
Cool show. I binged watched that during COVID with my wife.
Yeah, great show. Like,
Never watched an episode prior. But
Try
anyway,
to,
I wanted to be a lawyer too.
I doubled down on suit, like actually buying good suits after I watched it. I was like, man, started wearing 3 pieces. Like,
Did you?
yeah, I was.
You dress well when
Actually,
you dress up, not like today.
Thanks.
I don't
Yeah.
have a three-piece.
You don't have a
I
3-piece?
don't have a three-piece.
Buy you one for your birthday.
Thanks, man.
We'll buy you a vest.
Tom's got the microphone. Is there a question?
No, good.
He got covered off in topic. But yeah, like that. If that was a person's dream, like, and you
100%,
can
no
always
issue.
dig
I've
down
got
and say,
nothing-
okay,
Yeah,
why
of
do they
course,
want to
yeah,
do it? Like
yeah.
maybe they're trying to fulfill their parents'
Expectations.
or
Yeah, yeah.
Expectations.
You don't
Yeah,
know,
it's
yeah,
another
maybe
big
the,
thing.
maybe the parents have always instilled it in them from they were young. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like you don't know the full story, but yeah, it's hard to say. Like if you were doing it from I'm going to make more money, you're an idiot.
I had a mate say that too. It's like he was saying to me the other day. He goes, "Oh, I wish my son was gonna like even step into the blue collar work." Do you know what I mean? He goes, "But I'm a doctor. My dad's a doctor. My whole family are doctors. It's like he's gonna be a doctor." He goes, "I wish he could do something else, but I don't know that. I don't know how to push him in that space." I said, "Man, of course he can do whatever he
Let
wants."
him do what he wants.
Yeah, but it's again that ethnic mentality as well of no, you got to do this, or that parent, that old school generation type of thinking, which has been passed on to his kid, which he's going to pass on to his kids, and so on and so forth. Like, no, you're either a doctor or you're a failure.
Yeah.
Like one or the other.
My dad used to say, "You're a doctor or an electrician."
Yeah.
But those are the only two options. You can't do anything else.
And he said, "Fuck yeah, I'm becoming a baker."
Yeah.
So I like food. I'm hungry all the time. At least I'll need to learn how to cook for myself. That's why I started.
Are you married, kids, partner?
Partner, not married.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Very good.
yeah, that's the part of the life that took time to develop because when you do immerse yourself into business, especially since I met Robbie, I think I got 6 businesses in 6 months. So
Yeah.
that took a big toll on my life.
Is she involved in any of the businesses?
no, but I've known her for 13 years. So
Yeah.
we were
The journey's been
great
together.
friends. And when I started the cake factory, she was there peeling plastic off the stainless steel walls to help me start up. So over the past year, it's become more of a relationship.
Yeah,
but
good.
before that, she was there for the whole journey.
Yeah, nice.
And that's something that's,
Oh, so you only just recently started dating?
yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So I think, you know, for her to know the whole journey, it makes it, she understands everything I go through, which is difficult because you can't just, it sounds really bad. You can't just onboard someone when you got 8 or 9 or 10 businesses and just go, hey, this is my life.
Yeah.
You know, it's pretty weird to, you know, talk to and talk about.
Especially if they're not in that space.
You know, you talk about, I don't know if I've ever told you this story, but he mentioned how his parents were in the food space. They had a takeaway shop. I used to work across the road from Adam when I was 15 and we didn't
Oh,
know.
shit.
And we were competitors.
There you go.
He was like, fuck this.
What was it?
Our
Did you have
Souvlakis are better.
Souvlakis. Not even
Souvlakis.
fucking Greek. Souvlakis are Greek.
All right, relax.
But the Arabs make it better, obviously.
Fuck. It's like I come in here to go, do you want a Greek
Souvlakis.
coffee? He goes, Turkish coffee. I go, you fucking serious? It's fucking Greek coffee.
Yeah, we used to work across the road from each other.
Like literally, like it was
Literally. When I say
10
across the road,
meters, like it wasn't
like,
even.
I used to look at their shop and think, no way they're making this like
Well, my dad, when he came to this country, he was working for his uncle as a seafood chef.
Oh, wow.
And then he opened up fish and chips.
Yeah.
And had, I can't remember what suburb it was. Then he had that, sold that, then opened up a chicken and chip shop in Camberwell. That's the one I remember more so. And yeah, he's always had businesses like that. And then he became a builder after that, which was like 95. So yeah, been in that food space as well. My grandparents had a milk bar for many years in Camberwell. So that was cool. I think I've been surrounded by entrepreneurship and business owners my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, my dad said he's never worked for anyone. He's always worked for himself. So, cool.
That just triggered something in my mind. I don't know if we're probably going to wind this up soon, but yeah, it's like when we were talking about how do you start a business? A lot of people start a business as a worker and still think that they have to work the hours to get the business off the ground. And sometimes you do, but you don't have to work as much as you think. Because some people come in as a micromanager working it and then they get tired, they get burnt out and they move on and they go, how do you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 businesses? It's because they come in it as a working mentality. And it just clicked when you're like, you know, your uncle and your dad were working in these businesses. It's like, how do you get from one fish and chip shop to 40 fish and chip shops?
Yeah.
You can't leverage that.
Can't be on the grill.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
even think that though. You don't even, when you come into a business for the first time, and especially if you've worked like as an employee for a long period of time, you have an employee mindset. You think I need to do X amount of hours. You have like an hourly, I work hourly and I get paid based on time.
Yeah.
Not a outcome result focus. And we spoke about this previously.
Yeah.
Not an outcome result focused mindset, which is what clicks different. Because then you're like, holy shit, like I worked 9 hours this week and I made more money than I did last week when I worked 60 hours.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then when that happens, like something clicks and then you start to understand things differently.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but when you work as an employee, you don't get it. It's
You don't
not
get-
even, you don't know what you don't know, yeah? And it makes no sense to you. You're like, what do you mean? No, you have to do hard work. Like,
Well, it's like in the gin business that I have, I'm partnered with some family members, but both of them are workers. So every time we're going to do marketing or something, they're like, yeah, but let's just pound the pavement and sell one bottle to a bottle shop or one bottle to a restaurant and go, how about we put a click funnel in and let that just tick along in the background, spend $50, $100 on it every week. Because right now we're pounding the pavement in Melbourne, Victoria, but a
it's-
funnel
it's
could
not
be
scalable.
Australia-wide.
Yeah.
You know, we could be shipping to Perth, we could be shipping to Darwin, but we don't physically have to be there day to day, and we don't have to have an actual sales force for that. And that's where that worker mentality comes in, and you know, the entrepreneurial or investor mentality comes through.
Yeah. But you only gain that experience by being in business. You only learn that if you've either been surrounded by it or you've been in business yourself. And
But still, there's a lot of business owners that don't know this stuff
Oh,
either. So
100%.
you know, that's why coming to
There
a
is
builder elite or a summit and meeting the right coaches and being able to like really leverage that and having marketing experts
There
like you on stage with George, that's how you leverage this sort of stuff. And not to do it as a plug for you guys, but that's the kind of group that you have to surround yourselves. And that's how we met. We met through a group that
similar
was,
to that.
yeah. So
were you always entrepreneurial? Did you sell lemonade when you were a kid to
I was
people
always
walking past
taking-
the
That's
street?
becoming a great thing to end with. I really like it.
Yeah, maybe we should do that. I think it's a
Yeah.
good idea.
Well, my parents had a milk bar when I was born. I was born into a business.
Yeah.
And at about 2 or 3 years old, I was behind the counter taking cash
Yeah.
and putting it in the cash register because that was one of my favorite things to do. So I was always loving to take money from people and stocking shelves and all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. So yeah, there was always a entrepreneurial vibe in my life.
Yeah, nice. That's cool.
I think that's pretty much
On
pretty
that
much it, yeah.
note,
on that note.
On that note, guys, we purposely we don't sell you anything on this podcast. We don't want to take your money, but what we do want to do is create change and provide some value to anyone listening or watching this podcast. And if you got any sort of value out of today and want to leave a comment or like or post it or share it with a friend that you think might enjoy this, we would very much appreciate it, because as you can see, we have some pretty amazing conversations. We're going to meet some pretty amazing people across the journey, and we just want to make sure we touch people in a way that's special.
Where can anyone find you, Adam, if they want to follow your journey or get in touch with you?
I'm just on Instagram.
Yeah, what's your handle?
Yeah, Adam Khazaal Official. I've also got my own website, adamkhazaal.com. So those are the two avenues that you can find me.
Fantastic. We'll put it in the show notes. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Adam, thank you very much for coming down, mate.
Thanks
Been
for
a pleasure
having
to
me.
talk to you, and look forward to following your journey.
Yeah, definitely. Good luck with the show as well. I love it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.